Hi everyone, Tsveti and I are here to speak about the new moon energy, which is going to be taking place on the 11th of May. And it's a very prominent one because this is the one before the eclipse happening, which is going to be taking place on the 26th of May. So definitely this new moon is very important. How are you?
Hi, Victor. Hi, everyone. I'm doing great. Thank you. While we are making this video, actually, the moon is in Aries and it's helping a lot because it gives some fire and some enthusiasm to do things and energy. So it's great. Yeah, unfortunately, we won't have any fire during the new moon. But yeah, let's get started. Maybe we can
Yeah, there
discuss.
is no fire, so maybe it's all about not necessarily initiating new things, but doing some type
Yeah,
of internal work with
absolutely.
that new moon. Yeah, so how do you feel about this new moon? What is it going to bring for us?
This new moon, it's in Taurus on the 21st degree. Taurus is all about comfort zone, all about the five senses, all about enjoying the good things in life and, being calm, taking, being close to nature, like making this reunion to really stay calm and grounded. It's a very grounding energy. It suggests stability, and yeah, this new moon actually is very well aspected, so I can't say anything negative about it. It's like it has this very healing energy to it because of the nice aspects to Pluto and Neptune. And to me, thinking about the last full moon we had in Scorpio, it's like a continuation of these energies. It's like if we manage to stay patient and not to overreact during the full moon in Scorpio, now we are giving the tools to heal what happened back then, because actually then we had Saturn on the apex of a T-square, and now we have a separating aspect, a square. The new moon has a separating square from Saturn, which means something happened in the past, and now we can use the good aspects to the new moon to heal what happened back then, and maybe take some decision how to proceed.
Exactly. You know, Taurus is always about building. So it's like a builder. And it needs to see some tangible results. So if with that full moon, we manage to let go of some of our fears and we actually dive deep into our psychological blockages and fears. And we were even speaking with Tsveti this morning about fears. And I said, what did I say? There is opportunities if you face your, I can't remember what exactly I said. Now it doesn't come to my mind. But anyway, there is always opportunities on the other side of the fear. Yeah,
Exactly,
that's
that's what you
exactly
said.
what I said. Yes, now it came to my mind. It's a famous saying by someone, I can't remember who, but I completely agree with that. And this is exactly what that full moon and now the new moon talks about. So it's all about building something, laying down the foundation. It's like building a house, but if there is no good foundation for a house, it's going to be wobbly. So I also mentioned in one of my posts recently on my channel that, you know, when it comes to kind of inner security. So in many cases, what happens to very spiritual people that they completely disregard the material world and they forget to live in the present. So this new moon somehow reminds us that we're gonna have to stay in the present as well. We're gonna have to build something for us because, you know, new moon is all about, we've got the yin and the yang energies, the masculine and the feminine energies are joining forces. And of course, the moon energy is all about your emotional well-being, and the sun is all about basically the current incarnation and the highest potential, the final destination I can reach in this life. So without material success, there is no emotional well-being, but without emotional well-being, there is no material success either. So the two really walk hand in hand. So last month we had to work on our inner securities, our inner with our inner well-being, and this time around we're gonna have to manifest those by building kind of a fortitude, right? Giving a strong base to whatever we want to be achieving. And this is very much about being very clear about what we want. Taurus is all about your self-worth. What counts the most to you? What do you associate your self-worth with? So what matters is really what we're going to have to figure out this time around with this new moon.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So beautifully said. Well, actually, when it comes to the rational mind, to taking decisions, to trying to stay grounded and to really pay attention to both the yin and yang, I think that this new moon is very suitable for that, because actually the dispositor to all the planets, if we take the modern rulers, except for Neptune, which is in a rulership position in Pisces, it's Mercury. And it's in Gemini, and it's in a very strong position, which means that our mind will be very active. We will be able to see really any kind of opportunities. We will be able to quickly rationalize them, to quickly see and grab opportunities probably, and to materialize them through the Taurian energy indeed. So this is a very strong new moon. So also Mercury is out of bounds, which means that we will be able to see things out of the box, something really different, something, because when a planet is out of bound, it has this kind of Uranian qualities to it, which is, you know, seeing things which are not so accessible usually to the collective mind. And now we have this access to going beyond what's normal, what's accepted, and see opportunities which were not a part of the matrix, so to say, so far. So we can grab them and manifest them in the material world, indeed.
Exactly, with that Uranian flavored Mercury, which by the way went out of bound on the 7th of May, on top of my head. Basically what happens is that we, some of the information we can download can be coming like a lightning bolt. So it suddenly hits us, strikes us. And it might be a sudden idea what we need to be kind of creating a tangible form for. So if you are unaware of what dispositor means, because it might be something which you guys don't know, the new moon currently is ruled by Venus, but Venus is ruled by Mercury, which is in rulership. So it's like a planetary tree, basically. And then it always goes back to Mercury this time around. And let's not forget that the Mercury is conjuncting actually the North Node at the same time. So it's definitely some very strong karmic changes, what is also happening around us and in the world as well. So that Venus, Mercury, new moon energy is all about making some type of choices. But before we do that, we need to gather some type of informations. We need to be careful with that North Node because it's the energy of an insatiable hunger. So we can be hungry for information, we can be hungry for technological advancements, we can be hungry for going out there and meeting new people, socializing and so forth. And then the Taurian energy very much talks about natural things. So, you know, so it could really talk about that we might become a little bit scattered. We, let's say, download 4 applications in one go and I want to do everything at the same time, or I'm having 2 books in my hand and I'm trying to read 2 books in one go, and then nothing will be created out of this, but that Taurus wants to create, right? So therefore Mercury tells you here, all together with this alignment, decide on something, make the right choice, and then after start building that castle basically.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, because one of the negative manifestations of this Mercury could be like really restlessness to the mind, and, you know, being scattered all over the place, wanting to go for everything that comes up, because Gemini is a very curious sign, maybe the most curious. of all signs. So everything is interesting. I'm like a little child want to explore everything. So, but I believe that this Tauran energy will actually give the grounding that we need to focus on what's really important, because it will remind us of our values. And maybe initially when we feel the energy of this Gemini traits, we might start being scattered and going all over the place, but then suddenly we will realize that it doesn't work this way. It's not what we want. So maybe if we feel really restless and worried and being reading 3 books at a time, then maybe we can go out in nature and walk barefoot and try to ground ourselves a little bit, and then go back and see what we really want, and then we can manifest and have some wise choice, so to say.
Absolutely. But I feel like when there is no fire in the sky, it's always when there is no fire in the sky, it is always a little bit harder to manifest things, though,
Yeah.
because that Mercury could really talk about too much talking and no action. So too much kind of idealization and no action being taken. So make sure that even though if it's all about building slowly, but at least it's going to be steady. So don't jump off the cliff and try to do many things at the same time, because it might not be working out the greatest way.
I absolutely agree. And also, I also noticed that Mars is still out of bound. And actually, the declination degree of both Mars and Mercury, it's the same. It's 24 something. So they're practically in a parallel aspect, which acts as a conjunction. So when we have Mars and Mercury together, it further gives us this quick mind and very rapid reflexes. It makes us reactive somehow, and because it's ruled by air indeed, so we should be really careful with overreacting mentally, overstimulating ourselves with stuff and actually not coming to manifestation. Indeed.
Yes, and I would also add, because let's not forget that Mars is not in the greatest shape at the moment. It is in its full position, so our responses to something could be very emotional, and you might need to be paying attention to that. So remember that some of the emotions are just something which we want to be hiding. And that is also taking us back to that Scorpio full moon. We were meant to be spotlighting those. So here we just focus on the tangible things. By the way, if you don't really know what parallel and contraparallel aspect is, then we made actually a video on that on my YouTube channel. You might want to be checking it out, Astro Viktor. But it acts like a conjunction. So that Mercury is like having a conjunction to Mars, which gives you a very sharp mind. But Mars is still in Cancer, so the emotional responsiveness is very, very high there.
Yeah, very high. Yeah, indeed. I mean, it can give us, like quite a sharp tongue and saying out words, because Mercury at the same time is very mental and rational. So, and it rules communication and how we relate to each other. So, yeah, we might want to really find a way to ground ourselves. This Taurus moon is actually asking us to do this. And also the conjunction of Mercury to the North Node, and it actually leads us, it's like a prelude to the forthcoming eclipse season indeed. So whatever happens now will really have an impact on what goes on further. It will like begin the cycle of the eclipses. So yeah.
And also it came to my mind that the previous planet which had a connection to North Node was also Mars.
Mars, yes.
So this new moon definitely has got a very strong Mercurian and Marsian flavor, because now Mars is hitting that point where Mercury is hitting that point where Mars had a conjunction with North Node, which happened somewhere towards the end of March. So some of the things which you might have started in March is actually the time when you can make some new beginnings around those topics, because it might not have worked out the greatest way in the last 2 months. So now it gives you an opportunity to start that type of project, what you were working on.
Yeah, or make some adjustments at least so that it can be like pushed further. Yeah, it might be something you started and then you see it doesn't work, this works. It's a good time to analyze, because this Mercury is in a very strong position, so you can analyze and see the pros and cons of what started, and now you can make adjustments so that it can be really more fruitful and bring more material success in a way, because of the new moon in Taurus. And Taurus is very much about financials, very much about material, tangible assets, so investments. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, so and then grabbing the opportunity there, I feel like some of the investments are gonna have also some crash with these out of bound planets, and so therefore the Uranian ways, there is gonna be some type of highs and very lows. And I would like to also mention that Ceres, which is the #1 asteroid, and it talks about the godly mother, basically. It's very much associated with the earth, something to do with agriculture. It has just gone into yesterday on the 8th of May into the sign of Taurus, which is very much on 0 degree at the moment, and it's really happening around the new moon as well. And Ceres in your chart doesn't only talk about how you want to be nurtured and how you want to be kind of loved and what's your nurturing style, but it also talks about depression, and it also talks about highs and lows.
Yep.
Because Ceres, basically a little bit of a story about that. She was Demeter in the Greek mythology, and her daughter Persephone got abducted by Pluto, and she was taken to the underworld. And Demeter went on kind of a strike, and then she brought starvation to the earth. And Mercury, the god of messengers, saw that. So he spoke to his father, Jupiter, to do something about it. So Jupiter eventually ordered Pluto to allow Persephone to be with her daughter at least 6 months a year. So Ceres very much talks about the seasonal changes. It talks about the spring and summer, as well as the autumn and winter. So the spring and summer is very much about the highs, and the autumn and winter is very much about the lows. So either it could talk about some type of clash or unexpected changes, let's say, in the financial departments on a bigger scale somewhere in the winter time, which, to be frank, wouldn't be a shock for me, because there is going to be a Saturn Uranus square happening as well at the same time. So but again, that Ceres new moon energy very much talks about keep it a little bit quiet. Don't use that Mercury way too much. Maybe go for a massage, and then do a little bit of like a meditation, listen to your inner voice, build on that confidence level, and then after, go and gather some information and start building that fortitude, what you want to be living in.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to mention that Mercury is actually going to become retrograde at one point in the same sign. So if you really take a rash decision about something, you will have to deal with the consequences over the next, month and a half, let's say, while Mercury is transiting through Gemini. So we really need to be careful and grounded. And if we are not able to ground ourselves, maybe just postpone a little bit, making the decision better than making something rush and then having to deal with all the consequences. And yeah, regarding on the mundane level, and what you mentioned about financials and all these ups and downs, next year we'll have the nodes in Taurus Scorpio, so it's going to be even more highlighted after this Saturn Uranus square from Aquarius and Taurus. And yeah, when the nodes change sign, then the financial system and all the financial world will come to see actually maybe the results and the consequence of all
I know plenty of
the
people. I
crisis.
mean, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin are very close to plenty of people's heart, and it is close to my heart as well. So no one should be misunderstanding what we are trying to say here. We're just trying to prepare some of the energies, how it affects the online market type of thing. So I'm really hoping we are not right about that, but energetically speaking, I see that that Saturn Uranian flavor, the government is trying to kind of crash this because it's not business for them. And whoever, you know, Uranus is strong, Saturn is strong. So what's going to come out of this clash, we will see, right? But just be mindful about it. That's the whole intention of this video. But let's talk about the positives. So new moon has got a beautiful trine to Pluto.
Yeah, and it talks about the deep work, internal work that we actually mentioned at the very beginning, because Pluto will, Pluto, when I think of Pluto, the first word that always comes to my mind is power, regeneration, renewing something, you know, breaking open something which was hidden and provoking it to come out and to face your fears in a way, as we started, you know. So all success is beyond our fears, as you mentioned already. So Pluto will give us maybe this opportunity to dig deep and to see what's our deepest fear, what's behind us, what's stopping us from going and getting what we value. Because Taurus is related to our values, to what we truly want, what's really inside of us, our self-worth as well. So Pluto will give us this opportunity with it's trying to the new moon to really see what's stopping us from manifesting in the material world, indeed.
Absolutely. And, you know, let's not forget that the full moon in Scorpio was ruled by Mars and Pluto.
Yes.
And of course, in a mundane level, I would say it's more about Pluto anyway. But you know, it is a continuation, and this time around, we've got a trine, which means that we are getting the opportunity to transform something, to break old patterns, to change something in our life which we really wanted or which we have been wanting for a while. I mean, it might be a desire, a passion, or just you want, you know, to create something. And it's an applying trine as well, meaning that within 5 days, 5 months, or even 5 weeks, 5 days, 5 months, or 5 weeks, actually you have got the opportunity to see some type of results, initial results.
Yeah, it's going to, we are going to see the secrets within us. And we'll be able to process them in a positive way, because it's the trine is a harmonious aspect, and it suggests that both planets will be manifesting the positive manifestation, you know.
Yeah, and Pluto is in Capricorn. The new moon is actually falling into the third decan, which is a Capricornian territory. So we do have got a very strong Saturnian flavor to it. By the way, Saturn is also trining that Mercury and North Node. So this is also telling me that, yeah, we're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to give structure. Yes, we might get a little bit tested, but it's going to be an easy test. We can overcome that.
Yeah, we'll overcome that. And also, it's great that you mentioned the Capricornian energy, because I think we didn't mention that the new moon is actually in the decan of Capricorn, which is it's the third decan, so it has Capricornian energy associated to it a lot. So yeah.
And then another great aspect we've got, a very tight sextile to Neptune.
Yeah, and Neptune is again all about healing and having this, you know, healing energy. It's maybe also some kind of giving us some psychic abilities to go deep inside of us, to feel the energies, to be really sensitive, to see what surrounds us, what's good for us, what's not so good for us, to become more clear about our values again, once more, and how this also affects our relationship to others, because Neptune is a collective planet, and it's in Pisces, it's in rulership, it's really strong, and it talks about the unity of things. And we can maybe come to realize how our values actually affect the collective, how the change within us affects the collective, how if we are happy, others become happy, and vice versa. If we work for for making ourselves happy, then the whole world becomes a better place. It's like this for me with this Neptune. It gives
Yeah.
increased intuition of, a lot. So we might become really intuitive about getting in touch with our true nature and our values.
Yeah, absolutely. And, at the end of the day, uh, it's very easy to connect with the higher kind of power, with the Pluto, with that Neptune. It might be a little bit easier to see the bigger picture as well, because Neptune is all about the cosmic womb. So it's all about downloading some of the information, basically, from the universe. I feel like it's going to be bringing plenty of healing for the collective power overall.
Yeah.
I'm kind of very, very optimistic about that. Maybe with all these energies, our spending habit could be changing. We might be spending more money as well. We might be tying together our financials with our self-worth. Maybe it's worth actually paying attention to also. And at the same time, I would also like to mention that this new moon has got a little bit of a black moon Lilith flavor as well, because black moon Lilith is just 4 degrees apart from the new moon. So it's definitely talking about getting in touch with some of the self-worth issues. So we still have got that very scorpionic flavor to it. And then, as we said, go in and then try building something tangible out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I'm thinking about Neptune, and it also rules drugs and medicine, indeed. So having this sextile to the new moon could suggest some new medication coming on the surface and being manifested, for COVID or any other, rare disease, for example, because there are other, other than COVID. So it can happen that we have some really huge discovery in the sphere of medicine as well, and healing. It gives, this deep knowledge, it gives intuition, as I mentioned, it gives inspiration as well. So maybe someone gets inspired, and we heal the earth in a way, in this way, because Taurus actually is an earthly sign. It rules the manifestation here on planet Earth. And actually, I have heard of and read a few times in places that Taurus is ruled by the planet Earth in a way, not only by
Yes.
Venus. So I really hope that this Pluto trine and this Neptune sextile could give some healing to the planet Earth as well, as a new start, and like a jumping consciousness of the collective mind, somehow a new path in the matrix on a
Yeah.
more global level, because Pluto and Neptune, these are collective planets, so they're invisible, and they will be affecting more on the collective level, I think, and on a very deep personal level, not so much on a material level, at first, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And interesting you mentioned this healing department, because, well, I've spoken about this in my lunar eclipse video in depth, but I went back in time to have a look at, not in the lunar eclipse, sorry, in the Jupiter transits in 2022. So I looked at what aspects Jupiter is going to be making. And actually, when Jupiter and Neptune was conjuncting, that's when Sigmund Freud was born.
Oh.
And that was kind of the birth of psychology and some of the spiritual matters as well. And at the same time, we also had on top of my head Uranus and Neptune sextile as well. So, you know, there is definitely a huge collective change going on, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Some breakthrough, some, new people, the new generation coming is very different anyway. But especially those that will be born now, they will be really the maybe the light workers that we are so much waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Do you have anything else to add?
Well, not really. I think that we covered most of all of the aspects actually. So except for wishing everybody a great new moon in Taurus, and to really manage to manifest and to come to terms with their inner values, and to find the peace within, to somehow join the mom and the dad within them, just like a new moon would suggest, joining the moon and the sun in the heart, and being in peace.
Yeah, maybe just a couple of things I would like to mention, because Newman is always going to be asking you a couple of questions, especially, when it happens in the sign of Taurus. So one of them is definitely, just to summarize on that, what is the most important thing to you in life? Are you somehow do you track your spending habits, or are you actually a hoarder? Do you waste your money on something, or do you associate your self-worth with money? Or do you have a program to be poor? Or do you have a spending plan? Or do you have a saving account? Or is your self-worth more important than your net worth? Or do you actually value your price? Or what is your relationship to nature? What is your relationship to food? These questions you might need to be answering when there is a Taurus energy getting activated. Now, you also want to be asking these questions alongside with the house which gets triggered in your chart. So let's say, what is my net worth, basically? Then if it happens in the 4th house, then what is my net worth in the family? Do they appreciate me? Or if it happens in the relationship department in the 7th, does my partner really support my long-term goals and plans? So you're going to have to somehow put that together with your house positions. Especially, it's going to be a prominent new moon for you if there is any planet, I would say, between 16 to 26 degree of the succeedant,
Fixed signs.
fixed sign, yes. So meaning Taurus, Scorpio, Leo and Aquarius, exactly. That's going to be very prominent for you.
Yep, absolutely.
Great. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining our 2 weekly series about the new moon and the full moon. And we will be back with the lunar eclipse in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Take care.
Bye-bye.